Hello, welcome to Statify India. In Knowell series, we have covered very nice topics. In previous podcast, we have talked about lots of temples, lots of places, and some mysteries which are interesting for a normal person. In this podcast, we're going to discuss about Himalayas. Himalayas are always very mysterious and secret kind of thing. It's a place which contains lots of things, and if you want to find about it, you need some time because it has a wide ranges of mysteries, secrets and places. And even the fact is that 90% of Himalayas are actually unexplored. When we talk about Himalayas, we always imagines of monks, aghoris, sadhus, Everest, some Hindu temples. These all things connects each other with very nice mythologies and so-called Hindu mysteries, which are just unexplored. I mean, they are explored, but not much researched about it. They don't know exactly the reason behind it, why it mysterious, which are the mysteries. So we're going to talk all the mysteries and all the secret places which may you don't know. So let's start this podcast. This is AS Patel, and I am welcoming you to another very interesting episode of Novel series. If you like this episode, please do follow us, and if you are watching on YouTube, then make sure to subscribe that. Yeti. Now in trailer episode, we have talked about very basic informations about Yeti. It's described as a very large bipedal ape-like creature, okay? And it's completely covered just like bears and all, with brown, gray and white hair. It has very long sharp teeth, and this is just a mystery. This all are just mystery. It's not confirmed yet. It's just told by people and some great researchers who have claimed this thing. So we are not sure about this particular things and all. But yes, there are some very nice proofs which just points out that yes, there is something which is just described as Yeti. And also I want to say you that this Yeti thing is not just popular among Indians. It's also popular in other countries. And the locals, how they describe this Yeti beings, it actually exactly matches with each other country peoples. Okay, let me say you one quick story about Yetis, which is actually popular among the local people of India and other countries too. So this is story of actually the community of Sherpas who decided that they will attempt to get revenge on a group of Yetis because Yetis had been mercilessly tormenting them, torturing them for some time, and this whole thing happening. That's why Sherpas decided to get revenge. So they planned about this whole thing, and what they planned? They planned that it's ape-like creature, right? So we know lots of stories and actually monkeys behavior, how they behave actually. They just copy us when we do some kind of dance and some kind of gesture in front of them. They will just copy us. This is how they behave. Yetis are also very similar to apes-like creatures. So Sherpas decided that they will drink so much alcohol and they will just destroy each other. And this is all this is not true. This is all going to be drama. It's of course drama. It's just planned for the Yetis so that Yeti will kill each other and destroy each other. But what exactly happens? They by the way they execute this plan, and what actually happens is Yetis don't get fooled by this all Sherpas community. Instead, they continued their expedition higher up in mountains. They also continued torturing Sherpa communities. And this was a story. It was quick story, okay? And it's popular among people. There are also some other stories too. And I'm not going to much talk about it. I will just share with you so that you'll also get interest in this podcast. In our podcast, we try to give all the important information which is providable to you. And from our side, we try our best to give you the fact information, the facts, and all the informations are captured by our team are actually highly researched and from lots of trustable sources. We always try to give you knowledge which are just unknown, and this novel series is actually novel because it contains some very high mystic informations. There is also one story which is actually told by one of the local. By the way, it's not story. He was actually sharing his experience. Now, is this fact or not? It's mystery. Okay, there is no proof that this person or this local is actually true, and what he is saying is fact. So we actually can't tell you that it is a fact or myth, but let me say you. This man claims that Yeti kind of creature was actually growing directly in front of his eyes while he was exploring the mountain ranges of Himalayas, and it becomes taller and taller and taller by time. This particular snowman or Yeti people, whatever you can say it, this snowman's height was increasing at the speed of the sun rising. As this man realizes this thing, he find himself losing energy and he just ended up falling down and just gets unconscious. So this was a story which he said, and according to him, it was his experience. Here we can't actually confirm that this is truth or not. So it's mystery itself. Yetis are also known as abominable snowmen. Now, this word is kind of confusing, and how this describes actually Yeti. So I'm going to little fun story about it, that how Yetis are also known as abominable snowmen. So in early 20s, British actually explored the Mount Everest, and they found out very large big foots of these Yeti beings. And one of the Sherpa told them that these footprints are actually of Yeti, but he said in his particular local language. So what he actually spoke, I'm going to pronounce it, Meto Kangmi. This is what he said, and when you translate it from local language to English language, it means that man be a snowman. Now later, when this expedition was covered by journalist Henry Newman, he made mistake of translating Meto into filthy rather than man beer, and then decided instead of the word filthy, he would use abominable. So this was the born of abominable snowman word, and is known for his very large footprints. So this was the quick story about Yetis and all. Now let's discuss some actually facts about this Yeti. How Indian Army and some people actually claimed that there is Yeti, and there are some proofs too, which just points out that yes, there are some beings which are just very big creatures and exactly looks like and also described as Yeti. Now let me clear it first that I am saying this fact again because in main podcast we tell all things. Okay, so I am going to repeat this fact from trailer. So this is for those who have not actually watched our trailer. In 2040, actually, this study which is led by geneticist Brand Sykes, who is actually the professor of Oxford. He studied around 30 hair samples which are brought from different sites of Himalayas. He confirms almost all samples except two, uh, that these all samples are matching with noun species. But these two samples, which was just different, and it was just confusing the professor that what is wrong with these two hair samples. They found out that these two hair samples are actually kind of matching with polar bear. So they counted it in polar bear, but later they found that it was actually a very big mistake. It was not matching with polar bear and it was completely unknown different species. So people claimed that it was Bigfoot. And by the mean of Bigfoot, I am talking about Yetis, of course. So this was very strange observation which was made by the professor. There is actually one temple in Khumjung which was made by Buddhist monk in year 1667. And how it's made and all story I'm going to share you. This Buddhist monk actually traveled in Himalayas and lived there in deep caves for extraordinary meditation. During this process, it's said that the actually Yetis are those who helped him and secured him in every condition. They provided this Buddhist monk everything, all the necessary things like food, water, and all. After several time, when monk was returning, he came out with one skull and uh, hairs, which was actually the parts of died Yeti. And this Buddhist monk put it into temple of Buddha, which was made by him, of course. And this was the story of this Khumjung temple, which was made in 1667. So this also points out that yes, there are some Yeti beings. Let's move to the next proof, which was provided by Sri M, who is actually Indian spiritual author, and he has also written a book called A Himalayan Master. In this book, he mentioned one strange incident about his experience of Himalaya travel. While he was traveling in Himalayas, and by the way, he was traveling because he was doing some kind of spiritual journey with his guru. So he was on travel with his spiritual guru, and once while traveling, he got sick in Himalayas at a unknown place. So very strange place. They don't know where are they actually. So they decided to stay there for night because it was already evening and he was also not feeling well. As I said, he got sick. In the night while he was in tent, some strange big creature just came quickly and put some chewing gum like thing in his mouth and ran away. Apparently Sri Sir consumed it by forcefully. But wait, most strange thing is the next day. The next day what happens is that Sri Ram completely gets fine and healthy. And according to him, it was actually the effect of medicine which was provided by this big creature. And this big creature also points out that yes, there are Yeti beings. Let's move to our fourth point and another proof of Yeti. The Bible book of Genesis tells that there are some hair-covered giants who lives in the world, and this also proves and also gives us idea and points out that there are some big creatures. In the 11th century, Hindu poet Milarepa described in tales of Yeti in several stanzas. Also, some scholar believes that the tales may be a recollection of an actual experience from the dim past preserved in folk millennia. So this was some facts, and also there are other facts too, like a European ambassador from Bavaria traveling with the infamous Genghis Khan in the 13th century, and he reported an encounter with men like a big creature in the Himalayas. So these were all just experiences and facts because, of course, he was traveling with Genghis Khan, and there are lots of people with them too. In other neighbor countries like Nepal, Tibet, China, Myanmar, Vietnam, etc., locals also have confirmed that they have seen weird creatures just like yetis. And apparently, every single details and all information just matches with each locals, which is incredibly similar. So these things are just crazy how these things just mix up and points out at yetis. So yetis are very interesting topic to discuss always, and they will mysterious. Maybe we will not able to solve this mystery because 90% of the Himalayas are unexplored, and maybe this 90% of area is actually the house of Yeti. So let them be Yeti, let them live there. And that was it for Yeti. Let's continue to our next topic. So now we will talk about some places from Himalayas which contains some mysteries. Nanda Devi, the second highest mountain in the country and the 23rd highest in the world. Nanda Devi is mysterious in its own way. There was actually a mission to install a nuclear sensing device in its peak. The team was unable to transfer the apparatus return to safety after securing it at a point. The entire stock of plutonium placed securely was missing when they came back to get it. It's not found till even today, and this region is actually remain closed for decades now. So where this plutonium stock, I mean, how it just disappeared, which is still mystery. There is no religious mystery in this particular place, but how this thing gets just run away from places like this is just crazy. There is one place called Gurdongmar Lake, which is one of the highest lakes in the world at altitude of like 17,800 feet. It contains water of Tetsa River, and it sits on plateau among the side of Kanchenjunga mountain range, making it's very common for lake at such a high altitude to remain frozen in most of the part of year. What makes it mysterious? You will get it in minute. Surprisingly, the lake never freezes completely, and part of this particular lake remains unfrozen given any season. In winter, in summer, in any season, this particular part of this lake never freezes. The story that circulates from this particular places and locals that the Guru Padmasambhava was on his way to Tibet, passing through this particular lake. Seeing this lake frozen for a long duration, he touched this particular place and this very particular spot, and the blessing of this Guru that this particular place will remain unfrozen to make the lives of the local easy. Ever since this lake never got completely frozen, and actually this place is the main source of drinking water and all for locals and even animals. So this is very interesting great story of Guru Dongmal Lake. There is one other lake too in Himalayas which is known as Rupkund Lake. This place is located at the altitude of 16,500 feet, and this is very beautiful lake actually. It's the only beautiful until the water remains frozen. In the summer, when the ice starts to melt, horrifying secrets of this particular lake is get revealed. This lake gives a clear view of hundreds of skeletons jetting its way out of the icy water. It contains the piece of fleshy jewelry, hair, and the leather clothing, which is still attached to these some skeletons. And this place is thrilling mystery. There are many theories about this particular place because it has so many skeletons. Like it contains thousands of skeletons at this particular place. So this lake is very beautiful until it's unfrozen. Circulating this mysterious skeleton, some say circulating these mysterious skeletons, some say that they are remains of World War II soldiers, while others say that it's actually curse on a while others says that it's actually curse on a royal family. But the DNA analysis suggests that something quite different actually happened at this particular place. The analysis of these particular skeletons says that it was actually 850 AD when they actually died. And due to this freezing water with icy condition, it's actually preserved very well. This was what DNA analysis says. And also this analysis reveals that death of two group of people actually happened at this place. One group of taller people, all related, and other group of shorter people with no relation whatsoever. With all the injuries limited only to the head and shoulder, the researchers came to a strange conclusion that the only way 200 people could have died was because of an extremely violent hailstorm. It is what actually concluded. With so many theories, this remains mystery how they died and how these all skeletons are came here. So these are some mysteries from Himalaya mountain range, and there are many more, which we're going to discuss in next part of this particular uh, podcast, and we will discuss much more about this Himalaya thing because it will get much interested in the end. So get ready for that podcast, and that is it for today. This is Yes Patel, and I'm signing off from Statify India. Thank you.